Fellow Barbadians, today, May Day, Workers' Day, just a few days after National Heroes Day, when we said thank you to thousands who sacrificed their blood, sweat, and tears in service to this country in the face of this debilitating COVID pandemic, I am honored to address you, especially the workers of our country. In the words of the Most Honorable Stetson Wilshire, more familiarly known as Red Plastic Bag, we must know who our heroes are, and we must hail them from near and from far. And of course, my friends, you would know that in this year of 2021 to 22, the Barbados Workers Union is celebrating their 80th anniversary. You must know that I feel particularly happy about this anniversary, since our two institutions were formed at the same time, out of the same circumstances, by the same people. And to that extent, we wish all in the Barbados Workers Union a happy 80th anniversary. And that is why we're particularly happy that a memorandum of understanding will be signed shortly between the Barbados Workers Union, EMIRA, and indeed the Barbados National Oil Company, to ensure that the benefits of economic enfranchisement through renewable energy will also be available to the members of the union. That is a fitting 80th anniversary gift to ensure the stability and prosperity of that union and its workers and members as we go forward as a nation. On May Day each year, we celebrate our workers, tens of thousands of you who rise each morning, knowing that while you may be leaving home to earn a wage or a salary, more important to you is that you are leaving home with the express purpose of serving other people. And while too often we fail to give due credit to these workers, true everyday heroes, events of the past 2 years have now left us all with no doubt of your importance to our well-being, to our very survival. Whether we're talking about the laborers at the back of a garbage truck, or the linesman operating 60 feet above the road in a power truck, or the cashier at the point of sales machine in the supermarket, or the worker in a nursing home, the cashier at a fast food outlet, the driver of the electric bus, or any of the other key employees, we truly now understand how difficult our lives would be without you. So I say thank you again. Yes, our workers' unions represent the gamut of employees, from the lowly to the decision makers. But on May Day today, we recognize and salute more so those who we so easily identify as the salt of the earth. We salute you who kept Barbados alive during the darkest days of this COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and yes, in 2021. This will be our first national celebration of Labor Day since the start of the pandemic. And I want to say to all Barbadians, may we never forget, may we never again fail to appreciate the daily sacrifice of those who work each day to make Barbados a better place. Indeed, in recognition of this, we as a government will seek to put in place an eternal flame at Golden Square that will forever cause us as a nation to remember that in our darkest days, there were those workers who worked fearlessly and with serious sacrifice to put this country first and to put the people of this nation's health first. We hope that this will allow all Barbadians forever to remember this extraordinary sacrifice and display of courage by ordinary Barbadian workers. You may ask, why did I begin my address to you in this way when just a few days ago we were at Kensington Oval recognizing the sacrifice of our workers? My friends, the answer is simple. The government which I lead, the Barbados Labour Party government, has by its words, its thoughts, and its deeds been Labour by name and Labour by action. No Barbadian government, since the one led by the Right Honourable Sir Grantley Adams, has focused more on improving the quality of work and the quality of life of workers in this country, in the public and private sector. I say it not as an idle boast, but as a firm indication that the party that I have the honour to lead fully understands who voted for us and why the people voted for us. As far back as 2018, in May, exactly 4 years this month, we made solemn commitments to the workers of this country. And despite economic hardships, despite the Barbados Economic Recovery and Transformation Program and being in an IMF program, Despite the clear evidence of the climate crisis through the hurricane and the freak storm, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, despite the volcanic ash fall, despite the war in Ukraine that is now playing serious havoc with prices, despite the global supply disruption that has started as long ago as 18 months ago, despite all of these changes that have faced us and that we will continue to face, my government has spent 4 years delivering on our commitments to you, the workers of this country. And, my friends, we shall continue to do so. Last week, you would have heard the announcement of the historic agreement with the Royal Caribbean Group that guarantees to us at least 1,500 jobs on their cruise ships. News that has been so very well received by Barbadians, and we expect those numbers to grow. But the truth is, this is but one of the actions, many actions taken by my government that has been focused on workers. And what are some of the others? From the very beginning, we increased public sector wages despite knowing that we were going into that IMF program. That increase was 5%, and it was the first wage increase in 9 years. We also appointed thousands of public sector workers who acted in positions for 3 years or more and put an appellate process in place for those who felt that they had been disadvantaged in order to be able to ensure that they could receive some kind of proper satisfaction. We created new services commissions dedicated to being able to work quicker, even though we know that there is still more to be done there. We created the post of a customs officer 4, and that led to the appointment of over 130 Barbadians in those positions, many of whom had been acting as clerical officers but working in customs for over 20 years. We established a national minimum wage, $8.50 per hour, and a sectoral minimum wage for security guards at $9.25 per hour. And this was implemented on April 1st, 2021, in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of an IMF program. We launched trust loans from the very beginning, issuing over 4,000 loans to a broad cross-section of Barbadian businesses and Barbadian self-employed people who just simply needed someone to trust them and to give them a chance so that they could remain gainfully employed. We introduced a new business interruption benefit in NIS, ensuring that small business owners as well would benefit from protection during this grave pandemic period. At the same time, $115 million generally in benefits was paid out to over 31,000 workers during the COVID-19 crisis by the National Insurance Scheme. We developed the BEST program, which secured thousands of tourism jobs at the very time when no tourists were coming to this island in the middle of this pandemic. My friends, we've also launched the HOPE Homeownership program providing energy, which will see thousands of homes being built for everyday Barbadians, but in particular, nurses, teachers, policemen, admin officers, clerical officers in government, and people working in the private sector, ensuring that people who would not otherwise qualify for loans can do so by reducing the cost of land, by reducing the cost of services, by reducing the cost of construction, and of course, ultimately, by ensuring that we de-risk so many of you to be eligible for mortgages. We've also created the National Transformation Initiative, which has trained and certified over 24,000 Barbadians in conjunction with Coursera, and has also done almost 15,000 Barbadians in the citizenship module, which is so critical if we are to get more and more Barbadians to become active citizens. We ended the horrible practice of not paying income tax due to Bajan workers, and we've paid back over $1 billion in back taxes that you as workers did not receive for so many years. We introduced flexible work hours policy. We've also lowered taxes, abolishing the NSRL, replacing road tax with a fuel tax that is commensurate with people's usage of the road. We also ensured that the need for tax clearance certificates was removed, particularly at a time when it was hindering so much business being conducted in this country. We increased the reverse tax credit to $1,300 and increased those persons who could benefit from it from those who were earning less than $18,000 to those earning less than $25,000 a year, ensuring that thousands more were now in position to benefit from this $1,300. At the same time, we also introduced a compensatory income credit for those persons earning between $25,000 and $35,000 a year, making sure that you would pay not a cent in income taxes, because effectively you get back every cent that you pay in taxes at the end of the year through a compensatory income credit, so long as the government can afford to do it. And we have given it back to you for those 2 years now. We increased from the very beginning the non-contributory pensions from $155 per fortnight to $225. That was the comment that led to give me the vote on Watchman. And we've done it without harming anyone or any system to support our capacity to give these pensions. We launched a new fleet of state-of-the-art clean energy buses to ensure that every day Bajans can get to work in comfort, AC in fact, on time, and with also Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. We have digitized many public services, including the police certificate of character, to ensure that Bajans can go about their day-to-day activities and get access to jobs without having to wait 4 and 6 and 8 weeks in order to get that certificate of character to get the job that they want to apply for. We have refocused on global opportunities. The Migrant Worker Program has been re-established in the United Kingdom, adding to what we were doing in Canada and the United States of America. We expect that we will go also to the United Arab Emirates, where there's already many Barbadians working there on their own, but we hope now to have a structured program to be able to bridge all of these sectors in these countries. My friends, the First Jobs Program, the Job Start Plus, was launched. And young people, not as many as I would like, but certainly started, because it started in the pandemic, young people have been trained, placed, and obtaining work experience. The development of a national workplace wellness policy has been approved by the Cabinet. And during the pandemic, we prioritized the safety of petrol station attendants, approving the preparation of regulations to provide for medical tests and rain protection for them. We've recognized that the capacity of the Employment Rights Tribunal system needs strengthening, and that the case management approach has increased already the number of cases being heard. But we're not stopping there, and we will move towards making the Employment Rights Tribunal a full-time tribunal with at least 2 tribunals meeting each and every day. I expect the Ministry of Labour to give us a paper on operationalizing this policy in the next few months. In the middle of the pandemic as well, we took steps to ensure the protection of our workers by making the Occupational Safety and Health section of the Ministry of Labour an integral part of the COVID-19 Protocols Monitoring Unit. We have implemented a health scheme for all of the Sanitation Service Authority workers that you were asking for decades. And we've added also now mechanical lifters to the back of all of our garbage trucks to protect the health of the workers, in particular you from back problems from lifting those heavy bins over the years. My friends, we're moving to solve the perennial problem of late payment to temporary public officers, regardless of who they are, from nurses to other officers whose authorization has simply not come down sufficiently quickly. And we hope that we can do this by holding people accountable, because this is an unacceptable set of circumstances, and we must leave this behind us and not let it be part of our future. We've also passed the Discrimination in Employment Prevention of Discrimination Act 2020. It passed both houses of Parliament and has been proclaimed. We have also, as a Cabinet, approved the paternity leave policy, and we are now having the actuarial studies to be done to determine the implementation details and the affordability of what we can and cannot do. My friends, we have committed to trade union recognition. Cabinet has approved a policy that will lead to the legislation to allow for the recognition of trades union and employers associations. And we have also taken a decision not to appeal the judgment of the court with respect to prison officers and their right to freedom of association, recognizing at the same time, however, that we need to sit down with them and other security officers to ensure that while we respect their rights for freedom of association, we do not put the country's national security at risk at any stage. My friends, the truth is, we have done so much, but I will tell you that there is still so much more to do. Going forward, if we want to maintain and even improve the standard of living to which we have become accustomed, and to secure a worthwhile legacy for our children, business as usual cannot cannot be our approach. We have to be better. We have to be faster. We have to be more nimble. Our approaches must be grounded in creativity as much as science. In one word, we have to be different and we have to innovate. In the midst of the pandemic, this government gave fresh impetus to our National Transformation Initiative. And coming out of the pandemic, it must receive even greater focus. We will, as the name suggests, create the initiatives. But you, my friends, you Barbadians, you have to grab hold of the opportunities to retool. You have to be there and make those decisions that you are prepared to go and learn new skills and to be able to look for new opportunities for employment, either self-employment or employment through others. In the hospitality sector, we have a long tradition of quality service. But in this post-COVID world, we have to do better because the competition around the world is greater. In the teaching sector, we have a history of success. We have a proud legacy of supplying teachers and teaching administrators to our region. In the emerging environment, however, we have to be prepared to embrace new approaches, new techniques, new technologies to ensure our graduates are truly prepared for this new world. In the area of housing, we have an unprecedented demand from our citizens who have never had the privilege of home ownership. This has been compounded by an absolute need to rebuild much of the existing housing stock to meet the threats of the climate crisis. For us, the need for skilled artisans, whether they be masons, carpenters, joiners, steel benders, painters, has never been greater. And our workers must grab every opportunity to learn or upgrade these skills. The Construction Gateway program is critical to being able to bring thousands of Barbadians into the construction industry, ensuring that they have the appropriate skills. And these skills will also need to be learned in new areas of building technology, such as the lightweight steel houses that will be going up in Barbados. The last 2 years, my friends, have been challenging, but the opportunities of today and tomorrow are many, and they bring with them the potential to improve our lives and to transform our landscape by phenomenal measure. But we cannot do it, and you're going to hear me say so over and over, we cannot do it without you, the workers of Barbados. We cannot become world-class by 2030 unless each and every one of you wants to help in this mission. And I will ask you over and over to commit yourselves to this, to commit yourselves to active citizenship, to commit yourselves to transforming our nation, because we know that that will be the surest way to lay the platform for your safety, for your security, for your prosperity, and for this country's overall prosperity. We know that one of the most repeated statements of our post-independence era has been from our leaders that our people are our greatest asset. You've heard it so much and so often that it's perhaps now more cliche. But my friends, it is true. We survived the past 2 years because the government indeed saw you, our workers, as our greatest asset. Whether it was in the BERT program or the BOSS program or the BEST program. We're not about systems or sectors or the economy only as a whole. It was about you, the people, about Barbadians, about you as workers playing your part. Today, May Day, I pledge the full energy and commitment of this government to doing the things, to creating and implementing the initiatives that will continue to shield you, to reward you, to support you as workers of Barbados. And why? Because we are all in this together. This government's philosophy has been very simple. We shall share the burden when the challenges are before us, but we shall also share the bounty when it comes to us. It is for that reason that our platform for enfranchisement, whether it is in giving you opportunities to be able to participate in green bonds that will be issued, or in the equity, in the ownership participation of the renewable energy systems that will help us transform over the course of the next 7 to 8 years, all of these must be afforded not just to foreign investors, not just to large institutional investors like pension funds, but to you as ordinary workers too. Investments in the tourism sector. When we spoke to the new development at Hyatt, we're creating a platform where we will be able to create a block of shares for workers to participate in once the hotel has been completed. And we will do so with so many more initiatives. Why? Because we accept that you deserve to do something with your savings rather than have to pay fees on it to the bank. We accept that you deserve to be able to get a decent return on those things and investments that you make in this country. And my friends, as a government, we as the Barbados Labour Party will remain Labour by name and by action. It is against that backdrop that I say to you, a blessed May Day to each and every worker in this country. Without you, we would not be where we are today. Thank you, and God bless.